Welcome to Awake Women. I'm Alexandra Wenman.
I'm Gemma Bliss.
I'm Sally Poinsett-Nash.
And I'm Lorraine Flaherty.
And today we're going to be talking to you all about yoga. We have two very special guests here today. We've got Sally and Gemma. Gemma is a Kundalini Yoga teacher, and among other things, she's also an author, an illustrator. She's been many things in her life. She's been a DJ, a trolley dolly. I don't know what else Gem does, but she's an all-round bendy Wendy. So welcome, Gem, to Awake Women.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. So what can you tell us about your journey with yoga so far?
So I found yoga when I was an air hostess, and I was suffering with mega jet lag. And one of my fellow crew members said, go to yoga, it'll help with the insomnia. And so I went along and I fell in love. This was Hatha, so it's your traditional bendy Wendy yoga. And I went on a big journey with it. I went into Bikram, which is the hot yoga. I went into Vinyasa Flow, Ashtanga, Iyengar. They all have very different flavors. And eventually I went to Kundalini Yoga, which is very out there.
We like that.
We wear a turban. We wear white. So it is a little bit out there, but it's beautiful. It's an incredible practice. And now that is what I practice and what I teach. So
we did an interview with Gemma for my show, the Alexandra Wenman Show, and where we do the Sudarshan Chakra Kriya as a demo. So if you want to have a go at Kundalini Yoga, you can actually go on there and watch the demo and practice along with this lovely yogi maestro here.
And it's an atomic bomb in your system. It just completely clears everything. It's incredible.
I always feel a bit awkward. Kundalini, you can't escape all your stuff. It kind of brings everything to the surface. So I always either end up laughing my head off, crying like a baby, but always feeling a bit awkward with the kriyas. Like it puts you out of your comfort zone, I think, doesn't it?
It does, and we practice with our eyes closed, so no one will see you looking forward. You're in it on your own.
So I have a very dear friend of mine who, Barbara Gordon, who has been a yoga teacher for countless years, and so I've explored lots of different types of yoga with her, and I know it's something that every time I do it, my whole system, my body says, do more, and I always intend to do more, and it's very frustrating that I don't actually do more of it. But I'm really intrigued because I've tried the Hatha yoga, which is quite gentle, and I know that it was almost a mistake, really, that my first classes that I ever did, which I think might have been what sort of put me off at the beginning, was that I went straight into Iyengar. Because I didn't know I just thought yoga was yoga back then, and I'm talking probably 30 years ago. So I go into this Iyengar yoga class and I expect that I'm going to be doing lots of deep breathing and that I'm going to be doing these sort of meditation exercises, and I know there's going to be some postures. But I just remember this teacher coming in and sitting in front of us and contorting his body into the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen and laughing. Because he said, this is the move we're doing this week. Yeah, right, my body's not doing that. And, a friend and I come and we just giggled our way through the whole session. But somehow, extraordinarily, I don't know how we did it, but we kind of moved an inch, every few minutes. He just had us moving in this sort of very meditative way. And by the end of the class, we were all in this position. I mean, literally, bits are wrapped around where bits are not supposed to go.
So I don't know much about Iyengar. So do you focus on one pose for the whole class? How does that one work?
It varied each class that we did. I think we did different things. But I think with the Iyengar, and there was a lot of movement. So sometimes we'd get in a posture and then you'd have us moving around in the room. I mean, it was quite incredible. It blew my mind, but it was very physically taxing. It was very hard work, and I just thought that's what yoga was. So that was the impression I got left with in my first experience.
Like a little hermit crab.
Well, yeah, and laughing a lot because it's like, my body's not meant to do this. And it took me quite a while, and then when he left, he left the country, he went off to India. And when he left, you break a pattern or a cycle of doing things, so I never got back into doing it again. And it was years later when I went to another class, and we did Hatha yoga. I was like, oh my God, this is so easy. It's so amazing. And it was the yoga I was expecting. It was the breathing, and it was, you know, finding a posture and holding it for a time. And obviously there was some downward dog that's always going to stretch you and challenge you. But it was much easier. So I think nowadays, people are more aware of the different types. But one of the ones I haven't done, actually, so far, is the Kundalini Yoga. So just for the viewers, because I don't really know what the key difference is. So as I said, I think when I looked into the Iyengar eventually, they said it was more of a warrior yoga. So it was almost the closest you could get to almost, not quite a martial arts, but a much more dynamic physical than the others. So what's the difference with Kundalini? What's the focus?
Well, there are 22 types of yoga.
Right.
And Hatha
Is
yoga.
that all?
Hatha yoga is the movement. It uses the body.
Right.
And Kundalini yoga incorporates 22 of the kinds of yoga. So it incorporates mantra, the breath.
Yeah.
It incorporates the body moving, meditation.
Right.
We have the eyes closed in Kundalini yoga, so the whole experience is a meditation. Basically, all of yoga has the same goal, and that is to join with the infinite. And Hatha yoga has that, Kundalini yoga has that, Laya yoga, all of the yogas have that.
Yeah.
So Kundalini yoga, we do raise up the Kundalini energy, which is a metaphor for our divine potential. And we strengthen the body and the nervous system to hold that energy. So it is like every other yoga, except it has a few little more aspects to it. For me, it's a lot more meditative.
Okay.
It's a lot more expansive and transformative than the other yogas I've tried, although everyone has their own yoga that they love and that suits them. So I think you just experiment and you find which one rolls with you the best and the most.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What about you, Sally?
Yeah.
Have you tried any
Just
bendy
staying
wendy?
quiet. So I don't really, anything in life, I don't really engage in what is this specific type of thing. So I have wanted to be amazing at yoga for a long time.
It's like me wanting to be amazing at Italian. Never learned one word.
I do exercise at home. I get the giggles in a class. I think being so much taller than everyone, I get really self-conscious in a class because I'm at beginner level with most things. And I don't know what yoga I've tried. I know that I face planted my mat on several occasions, which took me by surprise. I never really got past beginner or basic, and I'm intrigued by what you're saying because it sounds, I love challenging comfort zones. That ticks a massive box for me to start with. The hot yoga, not for me. I've got naturally curly hair, so
I'm a real sweaty Betty, so that was too much for me.
well, just to restore myself to looking good afterwards, it's going to be a 4-hour session, and I don't have time for it. So yeah, I like the idea of challenging comfort zones, and I love the idea of doing it with your eyes closed because I think I do it in my personal space anyway. As soon as you close your eyes, you're in your personal space, which you may see me at a class.
This is the other thing with yoga. There's no such thing as a beginner. You are where you are, and that is perfect. So
I think it's more the strength that you need to develop to hold those poses. And by beginner, I mean I just don't have that strength because it's not been built up. It's something I pick up and put down and pick up and put down, and there can be months in between doing any kind of yoga. But the thing I've noticed that's always the same is I never want to do yoga until I've done it. And then I'm so glad that I did. I always feel better having done it.
yeah, absolutely. I have a morning practice, so every morning I'm up and I'm a very disciplined person. Luckily, this is one of my qualities.
Mental.
And every morning I'll wake up and I'll go, there's a little part that says, no.
Oh good, that makes me feel better.
Yes.
Is that little part getting smaller and smaller the more you do it?
It is, yes. I will get up and I will do my practice because I know that I can't face the day without it. It sets me up. So yeah, it's worth it.
And how long is that practice? So how long would you spend in that first starter thing in the morning?
So for me, my practice is an hour, anything around an hour.
Right.
The 10 minutes is so fine. 1 minute, 3 minutes,
Right.
so fine. Anything, just to get into that little routine of overriding the little no voice and moving yourself into whatever that might be. Long, slow, deep breathing, moving the spine,
Right.
you know, anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Gem, you've been learning something new, haven't you? This sarangi thing. What's this all about? So you've gone into some sort of musical type yoga thing now, haven't you?
Yes.
Tell us what that is.
So an element in Kundalini Yoga is Nad Yoga, and that's the yoga of sound. And it uses that vibration that holds all of our reality together, and it uses it in a way to practice yoga with our emotions. And with the course that I'm doing, it's a 3-year course, and I'm learning an instrument called the sarangi. I wish I bought it so I could show it, because it's a beautiful instrument. It sits against me like this, and it's a string instrument. I play it like a violin, and it really resonates with the heartstrings. And it's absolutely yoga. When you sit and you play this beautiful instrument, I'm sure it's the same with guitars or flutes or whatever you want to play, but it puts you in a space which resonates with that vibration of the instrument, and it's just pure joy. Pure joy. I am no Ravi Shankar or yet. It's going to take a while.
The album will be out next year.
The space.
Oh, amazing. I want to know about funny stories to do with yoga. So tell us about your face planting. I want to know about this.
I
Anything?
didn't even know what happened. I'm in the middle of pulling a pose and I'm on one hand in front of me, and the next minute I just have a mat in my face. I don't know when my arm gave out, I don't know what happened, but I think it's that not building up strength because it's not something I'm doing regularly. And I don't feel sort of strong when I'm pulling a pose. It's all very wobbly. It just gets really wobbly. A bit like the adrenaline after something bad. It's like holding the pose.
Yeah. No, I've definitely had those moments. I think it's what is that one? Is that
Warrior?
That warrior?
Yeah.
It is warrior, isn't it? When you turn right to the side. So that is one that I definitely get the. How long do we have to hold this one for? Are we done yet? Can I put my hand down now? And pride would not let me actually stop. You know, I want to admit defeat when they say, "Oh, when you're ready, you know, you can actually come out." No, everybody else is doing it. I'm doing it. It's just praying that it's actually going to hold out.
Oh God. I remember being in Ibiza. The first time I ever went to Ibiza, and I was on an angel retreat with a friend of ours, Anne Scholes, who is a mediumship teacher. But they had morning yoga every morning. But the retreat was all about connecting with angels and opening up and everything. And obviously, yoga opens up everything. And I'd started opening up to mediumship, so we're starting every morning we get up and do this yoga. But I'd be sat there and the teacher kept going, "Ow, look at the focus." And so I'd be like looking at the tree and there'd be faces coming out of the trees. And I remember at one point I'm looking at the tree and Anne looks at me and goes, "Wenman, what are you seeing?" I was like, "I've got Saint Germain and the tree looking at me," and everyone's just like, "What on earth is going on?" I was like, what yoga? What on earth yoga is this? I don't know. Is there a yoga called dynamic yoga? Or I think it was dynamic yoga we were doing. And the guy was just like, "Who is this nutcase I've got here?" Because every morning he'd be like, "You've got so-and-so looking over your shoulder." And I was like, I didn't know yoga could do this. Probably the combination of yoga, Ibiza, angel work and everything else.
But then if you think of the principle, you know, as far as I know about the principle of yoga, is that, you know, it is probably one of the most ancient traditions anyway, so it's going to go right back to the earliest history of time. And because there is a focus, there's a meditation, you are dropping into the trance state, which does open the veil. I mean, it's the same state that you go into whether you're using hypnosis or trance or any of those things. It's you know, you're focusing inwards, so it is creating that state. So, and there's yoga nidra, isn't there? So yoga nidra is the meditative version of yoga, which again is, if you break down the steps or the components of it, is pretty much identical to the techniques that we use to do self-hypnosis, or to actually acquire the hypnosis state. And it does open the veil. It's opening the part of the mind to connect to not only the data that is stored in the subconscious, but then also allowing you to travel into the other realms, which is why it's such an amazing spiritual tool to use. So,
and even more so because it grounds you and keeps you really anchored in the body, so that then those experiences become even more amplified. Because the more grounded you are, the more open you can become.
Absolutely. So for those people that think that they might struggle with doing, especially the contorted exercise, the yoga, there is levels of yoga that will work for everybody, because some of it is just about sitting comfortably and breathing, isn't it? Just focusing on the breath, and I know Barbara would often do, when you do the counting, the nostril breathing, where you breathe in for a certain count, and then
pranayama.
Is it pranayama? Yeah, you in for a certain amount and then out, and then hold it, and and the counting again, very much like some of the tools that we use in hypnosis. You use the focus on the numbers, which means that you are keeping the conscious mind very active and very busy on the process of the counting, so you're then able to zone out really and go into that lovely meditation state.
What does the word yoga actually mean?
Union.
Oh,
So union,
of course it
is-
does. Thought we should probably mention that. Just something I've never thought about really before.
Yeah.
Union.
So there are so many practices that we do which are yoga. In fact, the Hatha yoga that we know in the West it's one tiny aspect of it.
Yeah.
But really it's about that connection and that communication with you, your body, your mind, your breath and your soul. All of these things come together in your practice for yoga.
Yeah.
It opens you up, like you were saying, for communication on whatever level.
Yeah, which is quite amazing. And I know Barbara a few years ago was she was doing lots of trips in Egypt, in Dahab, and her sort of business partner, who I am convinced is a mermaid. She's probably spent more time in the sea than she has actually on the on ground. And between them, they actually created this thing called yoga diving, which is where you actually go and you do the yoga. It's not so much the postures, but it's more the yoga breathing and the meditative states, but while you're deep sea diving.
How amazing.
The equipment on there, and
because that would bring you into equilibrium, wouldn't it?
And I've kind of sorted it now, but in the past, very unfortunate, because I used to go over there and do the yoga trips, do the yoga holidays, but I never tried the yoga diving because I had a bit of a phobia of going underwater. And so the thought of, that whole, it just wasn't, that wasn't ever going to happen. So I never got to experience it. But I know, talking to the people that had done it, they reported that it was so extraordinary. So to be in that space where you are completely weightless, it's got to be the closest that you can come. I know in my meditation...
You do hypnotherapy, young lady.
Yes, but I never wanted to fix it because I just thought it was horrible, so I never wanted to go there, and I had no desire to actually go. And
I've got the same fear. Should we
Okay.
just do a session together and sort out each other's fear of diving so we can go and do yoga diving?
I actually have to say that a few years ago I went to the Dominican Republic with Stuart Pearce on a retreat, and we did an exercise where we were buried alive, and which was also one of my biggest phobias. That was a recurring nightmare of being buried. So we had to dig our own 3-foot deep pits and climb in, and sand was covered up, and we literally just our faces were exposed, but then they put like a muslin, what do you call it?
Muslin.
Yeah, something breathable cloth anyway over our faces, and it was the most bizarre experience, because the weight of the sand actually meant that you couldn't breathe. And so at first I thought, my face is still out, it's going to be fine. But actually you were being completely kind of sucked in.
Health and safety.
But what I realised was that in order to breathe, I had to go into that kind of yogic state of breathing, because I had to register that there was a pulse that happened in the earth. And if I took a breath, just a very small, slow breath, and because I knew about hypnosis and slowing everything down anyway, that's what I did. So I was able to just breathe, just as the pulse of the earth was just enough to allow me to have enough breath in this state. And I just let go and felt like I was being held by the earth, and it was quite incredible. And being a stubborn mare, you know, everybody else was like, get me out, and so I made sure that I was there for the very longest out of everybody, just to prove it. But when we came out, it was so amazing. I felt like one of those, you know, you see the films of those little turtles that have just suddenly been born and they scutter out. So with my eyes still closed, I said, okay, I'm ready to come out now. They dug me out, and I crawled like a turtle straight into the ocean, because I wasn't very far from it. And I just dived in, and I had no thought, I had no fear, I had no conception of the ocean being different to the land, really, because I was in such a connected, safe space. And I just went in, and then I just floated in the ocean, and I just lay on my back, and I just was there being held by it. And it was so beautiful, and I felt so safe. I felt held in the water in the same way I'd been held by the earth. And at a certain point it was time to go, and they said, oh, you know, we can either walk along the beach and go to the boat, which was moored just a little way out that we'd swim out to, or I could see the boat off in the distance. And my immediate thought would be, right, get out, walk, so you only have to swim. I don't have a problem swimming, but just didn't like to be too out of my depth or have to go underwater. And the second thought was, no, you're safe. So I just swam to the boat, and then I thought, oh, this is really interesting, because I actually feel completely different now. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go back, and I know where mine came from, because I used to be a bit of a water baby, but when I was 15, somebody pretended to drown me. They pulled my ankles in, and I actually did swallow loads of water, and I actually did start to drown, so I know where the phobia began. But in that moment, I thought, I'm going to go back and do those things that I did pre that event, which was to you know, just roll under the water and do flips and somersaults, and just you know, almost pretend to go back to being almost like a dolphin, really, is what it felt like. And I had no issue. So I think it's fixed.
That's amazing.
I think it's fixed. But I know that the breath work that I had inadvertently ended up doing was part of what fixed that. That's what shifted it.
You really reminded me of I did a holiday in Turkey with my friend Steve years ago, and we were joking around, but doing water yoga. We were literally floating on our backs and doing some yogic poses in the water, and we were like, we're so clever, we've coined water yoga. Probably we're just being crazy Australians looking like idiots, but it was good fun. You could do yoga anywhere. I've done yoga at the back of a plane on the flight to Australia in midair, so you and your jolly yoga. I mean, it's so funny, like I remember my sister Lou and I going up the back of the plane and me teaching her how to do tree pose. It was just around the time that DVT became really like a buzzword on long haul flights. So I'm there in my leggings, let's do yoga. like I know what I'm doing. I always do this thing where I teach my little sister stuff, and really I'm just winging it, but she thinks I'm amazing. Still to this day, she's 38, she thinks I'm amazing. Yeah, just follow my lead. I taught her how to say her R's when she was little, because she used to say wabbit and rainbow.
That's so cute.
That's language yoga for anyone that needs to know.
You're saying you can do yoga anywhere, but how does the practice differ if you're doing it any time? Because I'm a night person. I'm a real night person, and I think my creativity kicks in around 11 p.m. and I can be there till 3-4 in the morning creating. That's probably why I'm always late. And you know, how does the practice differ? Because you don't really want to kind of open up and set yourself up for the day doing yoga before you go to bed. What's the difference at different times of the day, or is there one?
There are, yes. So the best times to practice is just before sunrise and just after sunset.
Okay.
That's your perfect time. So doing it in the evening is absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
It's and there are practices that will help you sleep. There's meditations that you can do for deep sleep and radiance, which sounds like a bit of a winner.
Ooh, radiance, we need some of that.
Yes. Don't you think we have enough?
I think the deep sleep I can do without.
Yes.
The alarm clock's already set.
So talk to us about the radiance? I mean, what's that process? Because that's not one that I've heard before.
Radiance is quite a big theme in Kundalini Yoga, actually.
okay.
It works, it's why we wear white,
Right.
because that reflects the aura and it expands out. It also works with the breath and rejuvenating the body and the systems, and it works with connecting you with your expansive self.
Right.
So when you practice Kundalini Yoga, you find that you become more radiant and more charismatic is probably the wrong word, but it's more, you know.
Like we need more.
Be careful.
But is there a simple breath practice that we could show people on the show to get more radiance? To
Yes.
be more like us? I'm joking.
So with for example, this meditation for deep sleep and radiance, you would divide your inhale into 8 sniffs.
Right.
And then you would hold your breath in for 16 beats of
Right.
those 8 sniffs. So you're keeping to the same time. And then you exhale 2 long sniffs out. And then immediately you move straight into your 8 sniffs, hold for 16, out for 1, 2. And if you do that for say 3 to 11 minutes before you go to bed,
Right.
you will sleep like a baby and you will wake up, bing, like a light bulb.
So when you say sniffs, do you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So 8 of those.
8 of those,
Hold for
for 16, and then exhale 1, 2. And if you like mantras, you would use a mantra in your mind. So
Okay.
it's sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma. That means life, birth, death, rebirth. So you're breathing in for those 8 counts. And then to hold your breath, you do sa ta na ma mentally 4 times. So you get your 16 beats. And then you do wahe guru. And wahe guru is an exclamation of enlightenment.
Shall we do a quick go at it?
We can do.
Do you feel okay to guide us through a little quick,
Let's do
maybe
it.
just a couple of times?
We need to tune in. This is what we do
Oh,
in our
okay.
Kundalini Yoga
Yeah.
practice. So we bring our hands together and we rub the palms. And the spine is nice and long, the eyes are closed. Just bringing your prayer mudra into the heart center and taking a deep inhale. And exhaling fully. Now the mantra that we're going to tune in with is Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. It means I bow to the divine wisdom within. So let's take another deep inhale. Exhale fully. Keeping your spine long, eyes at the third eye point. Deep inhale to begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Deep inhale. Hold the breath in. Just invite your higher self to guide you through your meditation. And exhale. Just relax your hands down onto your lap. Keep your eyes closed. Now, just to recap, we're going to inhale for 8 sniffs, chanting sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma. And then we're going to hold the breath for 16 beats, so that's chanting sa ta na ma 4 times. And then we're going to exhale wahe guru. Now I'm going to chant so you can concentrate on your sniffing and holding the breath, but just allow the resonance of my chanting to move through your meditation. So breathing all the way out through the nose, we'll take 8 sniffs in. Sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma. Hold sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma. Exhale, wahe, guru. Inhale, sniffs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sa, ta, na, ma. Hold. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Exhale, wahe. Guru. Inhale, sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Hold. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Exhale, wahe. Exhale, guru. Inhale, sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Hold. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Exhale, wahe. Guru. And take a deep inhale. Hold that breath in, seal that energy inside the body, eyes at the third eye point. And just exhale. Keep the eyes closed for a moment. And just see if there's any difference in how you're feeling. Let the breath settle. Let the body absorb. And when you're ready, just drop your chin down to your chest and open your eyes to gaze softly down into your lap and come back into Awake Woman.
This is the Awake Women pose. I feel positively radiant. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thank you. Lovely. Oh,
And so simple. As long as you can count on your fingers.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
Simple.
easy.
Yeah.
Thank
Easy
you
to do.
so much,
Such a
Renee.
pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for talking to us today about yoga and your yogic journey. And from all of us here, anything else anyone wants to say about yoga?
No, I'm just going to stay in
It's
this
radiant.
I feel totally in union now.
Yeah, wonderful.
All your eyes are
Oh
shining.
yes, we're shining. So talk to the viewers with
Yes, how can they find
how they
you?
can find you, what your schedule is, what's coming up.
So I teach Kundalini Yoga at the College of Psychic Studies, and you can find me on their website, or you can find me on my website, which is yogigems.com. And I have a blog which I write about Kundalini Yoga, and I write about practices. So join me there.
Awesome. And Gemma also does one-on-one sessions too, so you could have her privately to coach you through anything as well. So wonderful.
You can get in touch with me through yogigems.com.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you
thank
so
much.
Thank you, all of you as well, for joining in the yoga practice and for watching Awake Women today.
Thank you so much.
Sat Nam.
Sat Nam.